heard what was happening. They went in, they brought about 2,000 people to the hospital and just driving back and forth. You couldn't trust the taxi drivers because a lot of them were health steady. It was, and the king of Holland apologized. He said,
I heard that,
yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's a sick world we live in.
Yes, it is. And it's not going to get any better.
So should I carry on?
The circle,
Sure.
the circle.
I would, if she would let me.
And not borrow it.
Her brother lives in Reno.
Okay, good.
He says there's no bird.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that?
Yes. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
But we're here.
So I'm very
Shabbos.
Yeah.
We'll daven and I'll find
That's
you.
what
Purple.
usually
You
happens.
just,
Let's do a pass.
but you'd like to believe in the year 2024, when people in the world would have learned something.
Human nature doesn't change.
Right. But why does it not have to change for us?
Honestly.
Yeah,
What did Tanya
especially
say?
us.
I mean, if you go back and when you read all the
It makes me want to
the
vacation.
historical
You're not
part of
snowbirds
the
yet.
Torah, what
Maybe
we
you will
find,
be. It's different. when-
whatever was
living-
happening
living
then
time.
happens today. Whatever, or
There's more
whatever happens today
living,
used to
that's
happen back then.
vacation.
Well, I would like to believe that Sichon, the king of Amor, never.
I've also
attacked
been
us. Well, he attacked us.
Told very
It
nice
was,
things.
you know, we had weapons, they had weapons. It was more of a level playing
Was
field.
it the king whose name we don't even know?
That's right. He's gone and we're still here.
Oh, he's
Okay, well, that's a good
not
thought.
very nice.
Oh.
Okay, Doreen just.
Not yet, Rabbi.
I know.
He
Don't
checked
so
out the whole
eager of-
state
Did she
before
give you
we
the
get
high sign?
place.
No, we're about to take it away.
All right, we're taking it away.
Oh, we're not taking it that far. All right.
Oh,
I usually don't do this. I usually juggle or I have an animal act. You know, a dancing poodle, something nice.
You have 1 minute, but if it makes you happy, go ahead.
Thank you. We don't have a poodle that doesn't dance anyway. Well, he dances if he wants
What
to.
is her?
Kirby is a Shih Tzu. Kirby is a chocolate Shih Tzu. Yes, he's a rescue. So are we. Anyway. Well, I wanted to say, as someone here said earlier, I think it was Paul, this was a heck of a week and we don't want to repeat it. And I'm not getting all political on you. I just felt I would take the rabbinical path and read you a poem. I have here the poetry of Yehuda Amichai. Amichai died very young, unfortunately. He was only about 72. He had cancer. But he was the closest thing we've ever had to a poet laureate for the Jewish people. And of course, he lived in Israel. And of course, he fought in 1948 and 1956. And he did everything right. He wrote poetry that people used to read at funerals. They used to read it at weddings. And it still has a great deal of importance and strength and force for us, even in English. So this is the poetry of Yehuda Amichai, and it's edited by Robert Alter. Professor Alter was also responsible for writing a great many books that take Torah and make it simpler for you. I'm talking about the Bible, of course. This is taken from a longish poem that I'm not going to read the whole of, but wow, it is long. The Travels of the Last Benjamin of Tudela. The real Benjamin of Tudela was a world traveler. He was sort of a Jewish Marco Polo. There you go. And this is where the poet is talking about sitting in his home in Jerusalem. I'm sitting here now with my father's eyes and with my mother's graying hair upon my head, in a house that belonged to an Arab, in a house that belonged to an Arab who bought it from an Englishman, who took it from a German, who carved it from the stones of Jerusalem, my city. Upon God's world of others, who received it from others. I am composed of many things. I have been collected many times. I am constructed of spare parts, of decomposing materials, of disintegrating words. And already in the middle of my life, I begin gradually to return them. For I wish to be a decent and orderly person. When I'm asked at the border, have you anything to declare? So that there won't be too much pressure at the end. So that I won't arrive sweating and breathless and confused. So that I won't have anything else left to declare. The red stars are my heart, the Milky Way is blood, the hot Khamsin wind from the desert breathes in huge lungs, my life pulses close to a huge heart, always within. It's a lovely little piece, and poetry does not always lend itself to being read, but Amichai demands to be read. He was the first Jewish poet to use modern language. He was the first one to use jerry can, which is a slang word for something you drink water from or something you water in. That was British slang, but he is a very important poet, and I urge you to read him in the new year, 5785. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, good Shabbos.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm Lisa.
How do you do, Lisa? Thank you. You're all welcome. Apparently, we've come from long distances to be with us this evening, and I'm appreciating it. So we'll begin the service on page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. The first Shabbat, God finished the creation of the universe. There's a minority opinion that I found on Chabad that says that he continued it into Shabbos morning. But how could that be? Why would the Lord God create Shabbos just to be Machalel Shabbos, just to violate Shabbat? So I don't buy that particular line of reasoning. But the story goes that the sun was rising and setting, the moon was rising and setting, and the stars and the comets and the planets were all spinning in this giant firmament which God had created, sort of like an upside-down cereal bowl, because the world was flat in those days, as you probably know. And God saw that the sun was setting, and he called out to all the heavenly host, the angels and all the planets and the stars, Shain Gedek, Shabbos. And that was the first Shabbat. Okay. Shain Gedek. That means enough already. Page 14, we'll do this in the English. Soul made loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you, before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. Splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, do heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathe it in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 die. Yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 die. We've done the 6 Psalms to a fare thee well, as my mother used to say. So I'm going to ask you, please, to turn to page 361, hold the place where we are, and move to 361. Let's read the gift of love. True love is always free. I did not merit that God call me from the infinite void to give me life and adorn me with his image, enabling me to think and dream, to feel and serve. I did not merit the love of those who raised me to the time of my blooming. All of it lavished love on me beyond my deserving. When I rise to a higher love, I too shall bestow it free. Love is the soul's answer to God, calling me to be like him. The gift of love nourishes the world. We want to thank the late Rabbi Ben Zion Boxer, whom I did not know, but he has a wonderful name. Do you know what Boxer is?
Yes.
It's Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it's spelled Boxer. We had a Boxer family in North Carolina many years ago. Boxer. All right, page 21. And I remember her. Her name was Lillian. Everybody called her Lil. And we were talking one day, and I said, yes, I put on a couple of pounds, but I was thinner when I moved down here. Oh no, Rabbi, she said, you were never thin. This is the kind of stuff they tell rabbis. It's so really, it's very strengthening. Page 21. L'cha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela, L'cha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. In the English, keep and remember we're uttered as one by our Creator beyond comparison. Adonai is one, his name is one, reflected in glory, in fame, and in praise. L'cha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Come, let us greet Shabbat, Queen sublime, fountain of blessings in every clime, anointed and regal since earliest time. In thought she preceded creation 6 days. L'cha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise, page 22, the 4th stanza. We'll do this one in the Hebrew. Boi v'shalom ateret Allah, gam b'simcha u'tzala, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Bow towards the ark. L'cha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated. Page 23 is Mor Shir Leon HaShabbat.
You're special.
All right, let's do the last 4 lines. Sati katamar yifrach, ki eretz alvaron yizkeh, shetulim devei Beit Adonai, Tichatzro Eloheinu Yafriyu. Odinu B'Seva Dishenim V'Rananim Yehu Le'agid Ki Ashar Adonai Suri Below Adlatabo. We can put the prayer books aside. Now's the time when the rabbi talks about the Parshat HaShavua, the Torah portion of the week. This is beautiful. This is exquisite, I must say. The Torah. The Torah, as we know it, the 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Always remember, Grandma Esther loves nice dogs. That will save you on Jeopardy one day. Okay? And this is Bereshit. This is the beginning. The Torah is definitely top heavy. All the good stuff comes at the beginning. But that's not bad. Don't you ever want to start the meal with dessert? That is Bereshit. That is the book of Genesis. It is totally Jewish. It is all dysfunctional families, a God who calls that nobody listens to, and it's a lot like today. It really is. It was just a little more orderly because the stuff was written down while the memory was still fresh. We have no idea to what extent or for how long these stories were told around campfires, in tents, told to children. That's the beauty of Jewish education. You've got these little kids, they're brand new, you've got to help socialize them. I always say we dress them up cute, but they're little Wildechayas. But the point is that we are socializing them, we're teaching them morality as well. And it also reminds me that Mark Twain said, I don't care if they censor my work as long as they leave Bibles around where any child can get a hold of them. So here we are. Whom do we meet in this? We're done with Adam, we're done with Noah. Neither of them were terribly successful. But now we've got Avram. God is giving the human race a chance to excel once again. And his name is Avram at this point. His wife is Sarai. Sarai means princess. And I don't think he treated her like a princess, but that's just me. And Avram means the father of a multitude. Are the Jewish people a multitude? Have we gotten kind of multitudinous? Well, there are 12 million Jews in the world. That's not bad. That's kind of a record for us. Everybody in Israel, religious or non-religious, has plenty of babies. It's a wonderful thing about socialized medicine. But the point I'm trying to make is that in this very beginning section, there are no Jews. There is instead a Jew. His name is Avram. He hears voices in his head. He's not schizophrenic, but he takes long walks. He's all retired from the cattle business. He did very well. He made a killing in sheep and goats, not camels. Camels have not yet been domesticated. He has plenty of donkeys, and we find that this persists still in places like Washington. You can never have too many donkeys. Anyway, God speaks to Avram and says to him, Lech lecha. What does that mean? Go out, get thee out. But it can also mean Lech lecha. This is a drash, this is a sort of homiletical story. Go to yourself. That's where he found God. He found God as the section, the part of him that wanted him to excel. And Avram is pretty much of a success story. It says that he converted so many people. We don't read about any of them. You wonder about him. But he did go out. He did better than Noah. Noah built the ark for 100 years. Why? Why did Noah take 100 years to build the ark? Because he wasn't handy and he had to keep going back to Lowe's and Home Depot. Anybody? Why did it take him 100 years to build the ark? Yes.
He had no skill.
He had no skills. We don't know what he did for a living other than make babies. But the point is that he was not a handy person. And he goes and it takes him 100 years because God wanted it to take him that long so that people would come up to him and say, hey, why are you building this gigantic boat? Tell me about it. Maybe I'll change my mind about idolatry and I'll come and join with you in the ark. But supposedly he didn't do that. Avram was different. Avram went out. Avram's favorite mitzvah, and this we learn from Chabad. I'm not quoting Chabad all that much. It's just that their stuff is very accessible. And my mind is very blank sometimes. But he says that the point is that he went out And his favorite mitzvah was Hachnasat Orchim, or as you pronounce it in Brooklyn, Hachnasas Orchim, meaning welcoming guests. That is why he was able to entertain angels unawares. Who remembers the great 1969 biblical epic, what was it called? I don't even remember anymore. The Bible. The Bible in the beginning. Yes, very good. You've got to have a bass voice for that. But what happens is that all three of the angels that Avram entertains look like Peter O'Toole, because that was what we really need to jumpstart Judaism, an Irish angel. Okay, God says, go forth from your land, from your birthplace, from your father's house to the land which I will show you. In 2 verses, how long did the Israelites take to get from Egypt to the promised land? How long?
40 years.
40 years. How long does Avram take? Two psukim, 2 verses. That's it. He's here, now he's there. He walked very quickly. You know, a camel will do that to you. There God says he'll be made into a great nation. Avram and his wife Sarai, accompanied by their nephew Lot, journey to the land of Canaan, where Avram builds an altar and continues to spread the message of a one God. We have no proof in the text that that is true, that Avram continued to spread the message of a one God. But here's a story. There's always another story. Avram is sitting in his tent, and his tent was supposedly open on all 4 sides. That way, if a guest was coming, he would see him regardless of what compass direction he was coming from. He had it specially made at LL Bean. We lived for 22 years in New Hampshire. You learn a lot about LL Bean there. And Avram saw a little old man fighting his way over the sand dunes. And without hesitating, Avram jumped up and went to the man and said, Sir, come into my tent. You'll have some milk, you'll have some food, you'll feel better, and then we'll praise the one true God. And the little old man says, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll come with you. So he comes with him. Now this is a story. This is not in the Torah. And they eat, and they drink, and they celebrate, and they teach each other a couple of songs. And then Avram says, now you must pray to the Lord God who is invisible, who is the mightiest God on earth, without than whom there is no other God. And that's what we're going to do now. And the little old man says, well, young man, if it's all the same to you, I'm going to pray to my own God. And he goes into his pocket, and he takes out a piece of wood. And Avram looks closely. The piece of wood has the face and the body of a human being. But it's kind of battered, and the nose got knocked off, who knows how long ago. And this is his God. And Avram says, what are you doing? That's a piece of wood. And the old man says, young man, be polite. My father worshipped this. My grandfather worshipped this. My great-grandfather worshipped this. My great-great-grandfather accidentally almost threw it into the fire. But I continue this worship. And Avram sits there, he's seething. He is so upset because he feels that his God is being insulted. And he says, for the last time, are you going to pray to my God, the one true God who is invisible, who made the heavens and the earth? And the little old man says, didn't you see what I was doing? I was praying to my God. That's what I was doing. And Avram says, are you going to pray to my God or not? And the little old man says, no, I'm not. I prayed to this God, and that's fine with me, and I'm putting him away now because you don't deserve to look at him. And Avram says, get out! Get out! He does this whole Ralph Cramden thing all over him and chases him out into the dunes. And then he's exhausted from the meal and from yelling at people, and he goes to sleep. And God appears to him in his dream. And God says, Avram, I sustained that little old man back when he was a little young man. And I bore him all of these years. And I made sure he had food to eat and clothing to wear on his back. And you could not you could not be nice to him for a short period of time that he was in your tent. You'd let the team down, Avram. I'm really kind of embarrassed by you. And Avram woke up in the middle of the night and seized the torch and went out into the desert and found the old man. They both worshiped together. So what do we learn from that story?
Be respectful.
Be respectful. Be patient. And we all have to get along together. We all have to live together. That's the point. They're not going to make another Earth for us to inhabit. And that Mars expedition, I'm prepared to be disappointed. I know they keep finding what was water on Mars, or is water on Mars, or maybe there's a water fountain on Mars. I don't really know. The point is that we are here on Earth, And in order for us to succeed, and in order for this country to survive, we're going to have to pull together. Well, things are a little, thank you. Things are a little bit different back then. There's a famine. Famines were not uncommon in Israel because the rainfall was very irregular. The Egyptian situation was different because every year the Nile could be depended upon to rise and irrigate the water on both sides, which is why to this very day the majority of the Egyptian population lives around the Nile. It is the Mother Nile. So he goes down, and for some reason he tells her to say to Pharaoh that she's his sister and not his wife. Why does he do this? Because he's afraid that the Egyptians will kill him and Pharaoh will take his wife regardless. Apparently she was extremely beautiful. But God sends a plague, just one plague, not 10, just one plague, and convinces him to return her to Avram and to compensate him with gold, silver, and cattle. So this is one of those shady stories we don't altogether understand. Although I will say this, back in the day there were two women scholars who got together and wrote Our Forgotten Foremothers. And in that book they said that Avram and Sarai lived according to Hurrian law. And Hurrian law meant that when you married, you became brother and sister. I'm sure it was only symbolic, and it's kind of offensive to our modern sensibilities, but that's what they did. So they were not lying when they said that she was his sister. Well, then Lot decides he's going to go out in the world by himself, and he chooses a city to settle in, Sodom and Gomorrah. Was that a good choice? No, not particularly. There's a story about that too, but that'll be for next time. And he settles in the evil city of Sodom, where he falls captive. The mighty armies of Kedor Laomer and his three allies, I think that's Amraphel and Shinar and Moab, they get together and they conquer the 5 cities of the Sodom Valley. Sodom and Gomorrah were supposedly near the Salt Sea, the Dead Sea. How is the Dead Sea doing these days? Is it evaporating? I think very, very, very low. And the mighty Jordan is a trickle. And the Sea of Galilee is more like the puddle of Galilee. So anyway. But he goes out with his men at arms to rescue his nephew Lot, who was kidnapped during the melee. And that is supposedly the very first surgical strike operation at which the Israeli army excels. And they go and they rescue Lot. Then there's a very dramatic sort of covenant between God and Avram. He takes a cow, a sheep, a goat, and he kills them and he cuts them in half. And then God takes on the form of a flame and passes between the parts. That's why it's called the Brit Bein HaBatarim. That is the covenant between the parts. We never hear about that very much because it's not good sermon material. Then things are not too good in their household. They dearly wanted a baby, and Sarai is having infertility problems, or maybe it was Avram who had infertility problems. We'll never really know. But Sarai says, "Take my maidservant Hagar and marry her." So he does, and they consummate the marriage, and she becomes pregnant and gives birth to Ishmael. And Ishmael is the father of the Arab people, according to the Torah. And that is why the entire Middle Eastern mess is a family quarrel. It's very, very unfortunate. 13 years later, God changes Avram's name to Avraham. He puts a hey in it. Why a hey? Why a letter hey? Because hey is the first letter in Hashem, the name. So Avraham, the Avram becomes Avraham. Sarai, her final yud, is changed to a hey, so she becomes Sarah. And the last mitzvah in this particular portion is that God commands Avram to circumcise himself, ouch, at the age of 99 with a flint, with a rock, and also to circumcise all the men of his household. And that is why to this day, Ishmael is circumcised, but he's already 13. And I asked a Muslim friend of mine when they circumcise, because what age do Jews circumcise? 8 days, during which it hurts the baby very little because his nerve endings are not finely developed. Oh yeah, right, like I believe that, okay? You know, if it was up to me, I would have said, why don't you pierce the ear? Okay, just give him a nice little earring and then we'll let the other thing go. But nobody asked me. Ah, boy. It doesn't make you Jewish. It really doesn't make you Jewish. You're already Jewish traditionally if your mother is Jewish. And with the reform, they determined that either parent can make the child Jewish, either the father or the mother, because it depends on how you raise the child. And the conservatives, where do the conservatives stand? Well, we still stand for circumcision. And there are reasons for that as well. Well, he circumcises himself and the entire household, and they go on. Thank you very much. Any questions?
How old is, they do it in the Arab community?
The Arabs. The Arabs are supposed to do it when the child is 13, but it varies. They don't have a fixed date. They can do it whenever, but they still circumcise. Okay? All right. On page 28, please rise. We'll bow towards the ark. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach V'olam Voed. Amen. Please be seated. We'll continue now. On page 29, on the right-hand side, the bottom paragraph, your love has embraced us. Together, your love has embraced us always, in wilderness and promised land, in good times and in bad. Night and day your Torah sustains us, reviving the spirit, delighting the heart, informing the soul, opening the eyes, granting us a glimpse of eternity. Because of your love, we shall embrace Torah night and day, in devotion and delight. Beloved are you, Adonai, whose Torah reflects your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Amen. Page 30, we cover our eyes for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto V'olam Voed. Reading the English paragraph, you shall love. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Let's continue now with the Mi Chamocha on page 32. Mi Chamocha Va'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Norati Lot Osei Fele Malchut Harovanecha Okayam Lifnei Moshe Seili Anu V'Yamru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Voed V'nemar Kifat Adonai et Yaakov U'Giolo Mi'ad Chazak Mimenu Baruch Atah Adonai Lo'al Yisrael. Amen. Page 33, the top left-hand paragraph. This is the one we dedicate to the folks in the congregation who are not well. I have a list of cholim, people who are not well. I'm going to read it now, and afterwards we can insert other names. Paul Dobbs, Refuah Shlema. Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shlema. Nancy Borden, Refuah Shlema. Jeff Stern, Refuah Shlema. Ken Tribble, Refuah Shlema. Sonia and Herb Yevsky, Refuah Shlema. Zelda Tzivia Bat Sirla, Ruven Ben Etel, Refuah Shlema. Janet Bat Gertie, Refuah Shlema. Vince and Patricia Massey, Refuah Shlema. Rabbi Philip Rothman, Refuah Shlema. Zev Otavianu, Refuah Shlema. Elisa Pepper, Refuah Shlema. Harun Imran, Refuah Shlema. and declare refuah shlema. Any other names? Yes,
Judy Kosnitz.
refuah shlema,
Michael Tremonti.
refuah shlema,
Russell Schotker.
refuah shlema. And of course, our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel still going through post-traumatic stress disorder about October 7. I read a story, and I told it to my current events group on Wednesday evening. There's a young woman named Rita Rubin. She's American. She made Aliyah. She moved to Israel. She lives on a kibbutz. But ever since October 7, she and a team of other social workers have been helping the Jews who were forced to flee their homes and their kibbutzim and their settlements, their moshavot, in order to seek safety. And these folks have been living in hotels, mostly in Tel Aviv, for months. The problem is our Israeli brothers and sisters, a lot of them don't believe in mental health. They don't believe that you need to talk to somebody if you're suffering from PTSD. So every day she goes around different hotels in Tel Aviv. She has a list and she meets with her people and tries to get them resettled or tries to get them to be okay. And I really think she and her colleagues are going to be written in some book somewhere for good deeds. So let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Yifros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisroel. V'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol ha'olam kulo. Amen. 34, we've got the Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti li'olam, oti li'olam, oti li'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Please rise, half Kaddish, bottom of 34. Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalad Yivrach Hirute, V'yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon uv'yomechon, Uv'ayetechol Beit Yisrael, Hagala, Hagala, V'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Li'olam Li'omei Almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yitpoar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Li'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Tamiran V'alama V'yimeru Amen. Now is the Amidah, the standing silent prayer. Time to meditate and send up some personal feelings to God. It begins on 35b and concludes on page 38, after which you may be seated. On page 47, the paragraph referring to God's completion of the work of creating heaven and earth, I like to sing this to the tune of a song that came out of the 1973 Yom Kippur War. There's always another war. And this one is called O Tireh. In the year that will come, you will see everyone will live at peace, and there'll be peace in the streets, peace in the homes, peace everywhere. Hayichulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam Hayichal Elohim bayom hashivi elachto asher asa Vayishpot bayom hashivi Mikol alakto asher asa Vayivorech Elohim et yom hashvi'i Vayikadesh oto Ki bo shavat Mikol melachto Mikol melachto Ki bo shavat Mikol melachto, Mikol melachto. Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim lasot. Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim lasot. On page 48 is the full Kaddish. And you know I forgot to light Shabbos candles, shame on me. So we're going to ask all the ladies to kind of meander over to where the candles are, and we'll do a group lighting.
Meander.
Okay, you can move the board. who could wield the mighty cigarette lighter, torch, whatever. Thank you. Excellent.
You notice? No.
I'm gonna buy a new one for the new year. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. You're doing great. This is where we have some incidental music. That's it. Yeah, bring the flame to the candle, you bring the candle to the flame. We wave our hands over the candles, cover our eyes in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav Vitzivanu, vitzivanu, lahadlik ner. Vitzivanu, vitzivanu, lahadlik ner. Vitzivanu, vitzivanu, lahadlik ner. Shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you, ladies. Back to 48 for the full Kaddish. V'yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yimliach malchutei, v'chayichon v'meichon v'chayidachol beit Yisroel, v'agalo v'zman kariv v'yimbru amen, yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, v'yol me'olmaya, v'yiporach v'yishtabach v'yipoar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalol shmei dekudesha b'richu v'yilam in kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran v'yalma v'yimru amen titkabel tzlaton uvuton d'chai Yisrael kadam avundi v'shmaya v'yimru amen yehi shalom rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al Yisrael v'yimru amen oseh shalom b'mrovav v'yaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. We'll write the Kiddush. Thank you, Stan, for fetching the wine, the grape juice.
I squeezed the grapes myself.
I know. I hope you washed your hands. Okay. Let's do the blessing together. Savri marnan v'rabanan v'rabotai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei bri hakafen. Amen. L'chaim, l'shalom, av simchas, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho b'yavav v'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu b'charta, V'yotanu kidashta Nikomi V'shabbat kodshecha V'ahava uv'ratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai V'kadesh HaShabbat Amen. Chaim l'shalom av simchas. I think that's the real thing.
It is.
Okay. You know, I haven't drunk wine for a long time. I'm not an alcoholic, thank God, but just whatever. Page 51 is the Aleinu, and we'll ask Stan and Gail to honor us by opening the Ark for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol. Lotei gedula liotzer breshit Shelo asanu kigoye haratzot Dila samanu k'mishpachot v'adama Shelo sam chalkeinu kahem V'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar Adonai, L'melech al haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad. And the ark is closed. Oh, good idea. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Yasher Koach. Thank you, Yasher Koach. Now our executive vice president will have some announcements for us.
Executive something or other.
Yes.
I'm not sure what. First of all, good Shabbos, everyone here and out there on the internet. Just a couple of announcements and reminders. I'd like to welcome, we've got 4 new people here tonight, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And tomorrow at 9:30?
9:30.
9:30, we have our more traditional Shabbat morning service, which is traditional. And there was usually a nice, actually I know that there's a nice Kiddush tomorrow, because when I was looking for the real wine, I couldn't find the grape juice, but I did notice that there's a lot of good stuff in the refrigerator, so I know there's a nice Kiddush for tomorrow. It's hard to come here and go away hungry. That doesn't happen very often. This coming Wednesday, we're having our bingo and luncheon afternoon, and it's Wednesday. Does it say what time?
11:30.
Oh, okay, everybody else knows more than I do, that's good. And,
Work on it and we set it.
well, that's fine with me, yes, 11:30. And I understand there's supposed to be a really nice luncheon that's coming up on Wednesday. And,
And other surprises that you don't know about, there'll be.
well, if I knew, it wouldn't be a surprise, so.
There's also a raffle for a 4-day cruise, anywhere with any cruise line. And if you wanted to upgrade this, there are going to be options and they're going to talk about it on Wednesday.
Okay, and of course, those people who were here who are new, come on down. It sounds like
And
a
the
nice
raffles
day.
will be sold at the event.
Right. And we're having on Sunday, November 24th at 3 p.m., we have the Blessings of the Animals coming up. The Hanukkah party will be Sunday on December 29th. And we have, it's called From Trash to Treasure Sale. I'm guessing that's like a garage sale in a shul. Maybe it's a shul sale, I don't know. Then we're having Remember Then, music, dinner, and dancing on Saturday, February 1st. There's a Hadassah Gala luncheon on Wednesday, February 12th. Mahjong and Munch. What day is Mahjong here?
Normally
Thursday.
we have Mahjong Thursday.
Thursdays.
Every Thursday there's Mahjong here from 11 to 2.
And who remembers what day is Canasta?
Monday.
This isn't a test, I don't remember.
Monday.
Mondays is Canasta. And beginning on November 18th at 10 a.m., we have a women's group where there's a group that gets together and they talk about things that are important in their lives and all. And it's
Husbands.
What?
Husbands they talk about.
That's okay. I've been called a lot of things in my lifetime. It doesn't bother me.
She's excellent.
It is co-sponsored by the Temple and the Cantor Center. And I forgot the name of the woman who is the organizer, and I
It's a shame
understand.
because her first name's Gail.
Yeah, but I don't remember her last name.
His wife's
And I
name's Gail.
understand she's outstanding, and this is going to be an ongoing thing beginning November 18th, and it's going to go on every other week.
It's so good.
This was the comical interlude, I guess. But anyway, thank you all for coming. A good Shabbos to
You left
everyone.
out one of the.
What'd I leave out?
What else is tomorrow?
Oh, that's terrible. Tomorrow, we're doing our memorial for Kristallnacht, which is a very important part of our, unfortunately, an important part of our history. Not a happy one, but an important one. So tomorrow we'll have our regular service, we have luncheon, and then we will have a short memorial here in the chapel following that. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you, Stan. Very well done.
With a little help from my friends.
Good friends.
Okay, on page 54, I guess it's Rabbi's Choice. We don't have to do the whole thing to this tune, but I did a strange thing this afternoon. I listened to wall-to-wall Willie Nelson.
We did the Morris Cottage. You didn't do the
Oh, I'm
Morris
sorry, I
Cottage?
thought we did. I'm sorry, I apologize. The Mourner's Cottage, you have a yard site for?
I'm mourning for my mom. I'm
Oh,
mourning for
let
my
her rest in
mom.
peace. Okay, you're right. Okay, page 52, those saying Kaddish are asked to please rise, only those saying Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shenei rabbah, amen. Yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yimechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agalo v'zman koriv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivorach v'yolam u'leil mayar. Yitborach, Yishabach, Yitpo'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei Dekudisha, B'richu, Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, Damiron v'yalma v'yimru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min Shemaya, Chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. And to we say, Hamakom yinachem etcha b'toch she'ar ve'arle v'lei Tzion Yerushalayim. May the Almighty comfort you with the rest of the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. On page 54, we have the Adon Olam. All right, let's do it the back and forth tune, please. Adon Olam, Hashem Olam, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, L'chefso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'yacharei Kiflot HaKol, Levado Imloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu hoveh, V'hu yeh b'tifara Adon Olam, V'hu echad, V'ein sheni, Lehamshilo le'achbira Adon Olam, V'li reshit, V'li tachlit, V'lo hoz v'hamisra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Molah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, L'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzur Chavli B'yitzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Umanosli, Minat Kosi B'yomekra Adon Olam, B'yahado, Hafkid Ruchi, B'yetishan V'yayra Adon Olam, Imruchi, Giviati, Adonai Levi Ra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Molach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, L'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Thank Thank you very much.
Coffee is in the rotunda out to the left. Please, everybody come and join us.
Thank you.
It's decaf, it won't keep you up.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
How are you?
I'm good, can't complain.
Keeping working hard, I see.
Yeah, keep you going, you know? How are you?
Well, if it wasn't for that.
I work too. The
Yeah,
real job.
I started a new volunteer job.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
We do.
working for the Sheriff's Department.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, helping patrol community. She went with me a couple of
Oh, that's
times.
good.
We do big functions. They had a big Halloween function last Saturday. She went with me at the park over
Oh, that's
here
nice.
on Federal
Oh,
High.
I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.